And we are live. So, what is going on, folks? Welcome to the Run and Gun Podcast. I'm Jay Peeps. That's Ace right there in the middle, and all the way to my right, or the camera's right. That is Chris Torello from Spectrum Sports. So, Chris, what's going on?
Pleasure to be here, gentlemen. I know we kind of talked a few years ago at Bucs training camp, and you guys have, slowly but surely kind of made your presence felt on Twitter. It's been fun to watch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. We appreciate that. And we got a fun, jam-packed show for everybody tonight. We got a little bit of HBCU news going on because we got Prairie View going against Arkansas Pine Bluff Thursday night, tomorrow night. Actually, we got Richard Sherman's the newest Buccaneer in town. Uh, what else we got? Clemson may have been eliminated from the playoffs, so we'll see what happens there. Ace, you got anything?
Just the usual: be a friend, tell a friend. That's our motto, kind of, to grow the channel.
Yes.
So your friend tells one person, they go tell their friend, and just grow the channel like that.
There you go.
So, yeah, Chris,
That's what all these small shows start with.
tell all your friends there at Spectrum Sports, and then you have your friends at Spectrum Sports go tell their friends at DAE, and you know how this goes.
There you go.
Most definitely, most definitely. So, I mean, we got about 30 more seconds till we roll the intro. So, anybody else got anything?
I had one question for Chris before we actually get into the main topic stuff. So you guys are Spectrum Sports 360, or which part of Spectrum Sports are you guys in?
Yeah, Spectrum Bay News 9, and every night we have a live half-hour show. So when I get done with you, I'm done with another podcast, 10:30, I'm on live. I've had the show already built. We've got a lot of stuff. So, yeah, we do that every night, though. So it's a lot.
Awesome. We will definitely be watching tonight. But yeah, folks, the intro's next. Don't go anywhere. Get ready.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is GP.
This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash.
This is Jimi Hendrix.
And you're listening to
You're listening
to the Run and Gun Podcast.
So, with that being said, let's dive right into it. So, the first line of business this evening is, of course, Richard Sherman being the newest Tampa Bay Buccaneer. So, Chris, I got to ask you, start us off with that. Like what's the latest going on with that? I know he practiced today.
Yeah, he won't play this weekend. I think there had been some kind of, some kind of back and forth about if he would, but it was first Ed Warder of ESPN who said he'd probably need at least a week to get ready. There was some local guys who thought maybe he was going to go Sunday. Listen, the secondary is not that good. They have the worst statistical pass defense in the NFL right now, so they need help. But I think, Sherman will take about a week, even though he's back to his 195 playing weight from his Seattle days. He needs to kind of get his feet underneath him. So I understand that, which stinks because they need all the help they can get in the secondary on Sunday. But yeah, he practiced today. He's going to wear number 5, which was always a big discussion for fans, is what number, because 25 was taken by Gio Bernard. So yeah, Sherman's he's here. His feud with Tom Brady is over. And actually, it was Brady who had kind of been recruiting him, and they'd actually been talking to him for about a couple weeks. So it wasn't something that just came together Monday night, Tuesday. They've been talking for a few weeks. So, look, it's the Tom Brady effect. It's bigger than LeBron. He's the most impressive athlete you're ever going to see in the NFL. So that people want to play with him. They know they're going to get a chance to go deep in the playoffs and possibly get a ring. And for Richard Sherman, you think it could be maybe his last hurrah.
That's true. That is very true. Because I was thinking about it actually earlier today. Because I was thinking to myself, like, you look at that Legion of Boom that was together in Seattle. You got Cam Chancellor retired, Earl Thomas given his drama, he's out of football. Richard Sherman was like, the last of the four horsemen in that secondary that's currently still left standing.
Yeah, both Jeremy Wayne and Byron Maxwell both are out of football too. So it's like you said, Richard Sherman's the last man standing. But Chris, I wanted to ask you, because I know you said he's not going to play this week, so at least that's not going to impact the Bucs secondary too much, I think, because the New England's wide receiving core is ranked I think second half, bottom half of the league right now. So I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be too much of a challenge, I think. And James White is out for the season now, so it's less pressure on that secondary. So which is why I think what you were saying with him not playing this week, I think it's probably because they're not seeing that too much. It's not an absolute. It's not like they're going against the Rams and they're going to be all hands on deck. It's going to be the New England. Not saying that their offense is bad per se, but it's more check down based.
Well, that's the thing, though. They did pay 2 tight ends who still haven't gotten fully involved, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry. I think if any week for Mac Jones, their 15th pick out of Alabama, to come alive, I never thought I'd say it, but it could be against the Bucs. I mean, they're not getting any pass rush up front. JPP being hurt has been really tough for them. I think, a guy like, Tryon Shoyinka, he still is kind of getting himself used to playing again. Remember, he didn't play for 2 years because he didn't play last year due to COVID. So I think, for that sense, it's they're not getting any push. They're a second behind. Shaq Barrett feels like it's a second behind. Vita Vea is a half second behind getting to the quarterback. So if, the check down may work this week, because if that means Mac Jones is getting rid of the ball faster and getting that ball to the second, third level of the defense, that could be a problem. I'm not going to write off the Patriots because Bill Belichick's one of those guys that, look, I know everyone thinks it was all Tom Brady, and it was, but Bill Belichick can stop some pretty big passers. He can stop some good offenses. Let's not forget last year, Lamar Jackson comes in there on a rainy night, and I think it was in November, and he looked horrible. And Cam Newton, they just ran him the whole game, and they won. So they'll put a game plan together. If they can control the clock, they'll be in this game. And unfortunately, that's the way you got to look at it, because the Bucs, they're not world beaters. Yes, they're scoring, but they're not world beaters. But I do think they're going to win. Not to completely, say that you're not, but I think the secondary is way weaker than people are thinking right now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, honestly, too. Because when you look at it, it's everybody's talking about Brady against Bill, but my thing was, I was like, hold on a second, we need to look at Todd Bowles and how does that defense bounce back going against Josh McDaniels and that offense. That's the thing that no one's really talking about. I'm sure Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels will hit on it, but national media is not talking about that matchup.
Well, what you were saying, I think Dennis Allen last week, he kind of destroyed Mac Jones in the sense that he was constantly blitzing every other plays, a blitz come in constant pressure. So if Todd Bowles does something similar, it's going to probably affect Mac Jones because he's still a rookie, like you guys were saying, and it's going to probably affect him like all rookies probably get affected by pressure.
No, you're right. And look, if guys like White and Levante can get there, that'd be wonderful. But they haven't done it yet. They haven't disrupted the backfield like they should be doing. Yes, now look, we all agreed that the run game's not going to be there for the Patriots, and that's fine. The Bucs are really good at stopping the run right now, but and I need to see them completely shut down somebody. Even if they shut down Mac Jones, I'm not going to be sold because he is a rookie, like you said, Ace. So I think for me, yeah, dial it up. I'd love to see Todd Bowles kind of go back to the playoff format where he was just like, screw it, somebody's going on every play. We're attacking. We're going to attack and see what happens. So, yeah, I mean, look, it should be a fairly comfortable night, and we know Brady's going to break the passing record. He's going to do that probably in the first 15 minutes. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, I just, if they can dial it up like you said, Ace, sure. And I would absolutely listen, I think we don't need to take a poll here. I mean, Todd Bowles is about 500 times the defensive coordinator of Dennis Allen. In fact, Todd Bowles should still be a head coach in this league.
Thank you. Facts. Straight facts. But with 3 minutes left to go here in this first quarter, there's something else I wanted to ask you, because I know you're from up there where all the Philly fans are from, and I know you saw the game on Monday night. So here's my first question: are the Cowboys the best team right now, or even maybe long term in the NFC East?
Well, they're certainly going to be built that way. I mean, Dak is still a darn good quarterback, and as someone who grew up in the NFC East and, grew up hating every team that I didn't, in that whole division. I mean, it's, I think Jalen Hurts, I still love him. I think he's got so much upside. I grew up in Connecticut, so I was more leaning of a Giants fan, but I'll say this, I'm definitely, listen, and I've learned what it's like not having a quarterback. Eli Manning was a godsend, and now I have to watch him flip people off on national television. But I think, as someone who never liked the Eagles, but always had respect for Donovan McNabb, always had respect for Tony Romo, I think Jalen Hurts is still the guy that I would want, because I just think he's a winner. I think he knows how to get things done. Wouldn't shock me if one of these, now I don't know if they have the right coach. That's a whole other story, but I think he's the right quarterback if they can get him going. But look, right now, yeah, I mean, like I said, they're built in Dallas to win because the money they're going to spend, Jerry Jones is going to die soon, so he wants another ring. And so when that happens, yeah, it's going to happen. Did you see the amount of salt he was putting on his Egg McMuffin in episode 1?
Chris, yeah, so I totally agree with you on Jalen Hurts.
That general, the senator who gets attacked in episode. So know what Star Wars is. So
no, but Chris, you were totally right. I agree with you on the Jalen Hurts point. I liked him as the best quarterback kind of in the entire NFC East. No offense to Dak, he's still a great quarterback. I just like I've always liked Hurts since back in Alabama. But that is just kind of cracked me up just there.
Oh man! Oh my goodness! I lost my train.
All right, keep it moving, JP. So let's keep it moving.
I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought when he said that. Oh my goodness, where was I going? Ace, you had to take this one. We got 40 seconds left. Keep going.
All right. I mean, also like on the other NFC East team that we didn't mention there, Washington. If at this point, with their team and how it's looking, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of Ron Rivera's not this type of coach, but if they not as good this year, I can see them probably drafting a quarterback round 1 coming up. But the problem is the 2022 draft class isn't that great in my opinion. So it's kind of like Washington's like a quarterback away from actually being competitive, I feel. But
I think Heineke, give him. He could be your.
I love Heineke, but
no, but he could lead that team to a playoff. He's done it already. I know he wasn't technically the quarterback for most of that, but yeah, he could do it. You're right. Listen, the Giants have 2 first-round picks. What a horrible year to not have quarterbacks, because they could get the guy they want. Of course, they could have just had Justin Fields. And because Justin Fields, the second he didn't go in the top 10, he was the steal of the draft. End of discussion. And he was the steal of the draft. And I just think he's the best. He was the best quarterback taken.
Chris, now that you mentioned Justin Fields, I do actually want to ask you, what's your thoughts on Matt Nagy and how soon do you think Chicago should be? Thank you. Okay, we agree on that.
He's stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. Make Todd Bowles the head coach again. Let's actually allow resume to speak. I don't know how he got the job, but I mean, go back to Lovie Smith was 10-6 when they fired him. For the love of God. I mean, let's put someone in charge who's a grown-up, and whether that be now another name I'd go with is Byron, because he's an offensive-minded guy and a scrambler himself in Jacksonville, and even for the Bucs, so he would be wonderful for Justin Fields. One of those two guys.
I was thinking before we transition to the NCAA, I was thinking Eric Bieniemy, because I told Ace, I said,
he should have any job he wants.
Exactly. I said,
yeah, we had this whole conversation 2 weeks ago.
You're going to keep having it.
How special would it be if Eric Bieniemy got his hands on Justin Fields?
Yeah, but he may get to say he has his hands on Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 years. I mean, and Andy Reid's got health issues. He's addicted to burgers. So, I mean, there's going to be some there's going to be some give and take there with Eric Bieniemy, and that's why. Listen, if Bieniemy wants the USC job, he should have it, but I don't think he wants to do that whole grind of 12 months. It's just you lose your soul in college football when you do that. So I think if I'm Bieniemy, you kind of ride it out, and you got a great situation. Everyone loves you in Kansas City. Why not just take the keys to the Ferrari? As long as Mahomes is there, you got a chance. So I would rather stay there and instead of having, but yeah, Justin Fields is, in my opinion, he's very gifted, and he runs like Russell Wilson. He's a gazelle out there, and he glides, and it was so fun to watch him last year at Ohio State. So hopefully he gets the right coach around him, but you need a coach who can appreciate the talent and the culture of the locker room. And I certainly don't think Nagy even comes close.
I agree.
One last question on the Bears. Do you think they should just trade Allen Robinson? Because I doubt he's going to re-sign there.
I just traded him on my fantasy team because he sucks. So, yeah, you should. Yes.
Yes. Trade him because I have him also in my fantasy team, and I'm like, no one's going to take him right now.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
Going to be unconditional release on my next week. So.
Great minds think alike. But that takes us now to the NCAA. So, the first thing, how are we feeling about Clemson? Because I know we all saw the NC State game, how it finished. Are we canceling them out, or are we saying it's not over yet?
I'd love to just cancel them out. I'd love to say they're done because yeah, but you know what? I think there's a lot of PTSD, right? I mean, until Alabama's out, they're not out. Until Clemson's out, they're not out. Until Ohio State's out, they're not out. Until Georgia's out, it's like you almost want to see all these teams crumble to 3 losses just to kind of make a point. And I think there's a lot of good teams. There's no great teams. Alabama will be great by the end of the year. Florida, Georgia up in Jacksonville, end of October is going to be the game. Yeah, that's the one you want. If Florida can find its way through that game, they'll challenge Alabama and Atlanta. So we'll see. But the problem is ESPN controls the contract, and and that's the thing. ESPN has SEC propaganda. They've got it all. So it's very, very easy for, Laura Rutledge and Tim Tebow and all their SEC people to sit there after a good SEC championship and say, oh my God, how can you not think that these are the 2 of the 4 best teams? And it's like, well, because one of them just lost their second game. So that's why they're not one of the best 4 teams. So you can just run along now with that crap. So that's, I would love chaos. I'd love to see Cincinnati in it. I'd love to see, I think BYU is a really good team. They just played USF. I'd love to see some of these teams get their chance. Coastal Carolina, come on, man. I mean, they were so good last year, and they've got, Willie Lampkin from Lakeland. I love that kid. So there's a couple of, teams like even Liberty. There's some teams up there that I'd love to see get a chance, and hopefully we move to 12 teams that will get a chance.
Yeah, I agree, because I ultimately felt like, and even Ace did too, Cincinnati played Georgia very tough, and on a good,
should have won that game. Yeah,
on a good day, I think they beat some of those other teams that could have been in the playoff.
Yeah,
and I would say the same for Coastal Carolina. I mean, I believe it was one bad play. If that play goes their way, Coastal Carolina has an undefeated season.
Yeah.
And they're probably claiming a national title like UCF did.
Chris, let me ask you, what's your thoughts on Oregon and Penn State? I know you guys were talking about like top 5 teams and whatever, but like, what's you got for both of those teams? Penn State.
I like Mario Cristobal. He follows me on Twitter, so I have a bias towards him. But he is a solid coach. I know he had that, everyone kind of pointed to that incident where he was ripping a player and throwing his headset, but that's tough love. And that's Mario saying, look, you don't disrespect me on the sideline. And that young man's going to be better for it because of it. He didn't hit him. He didn't do anything wrong. He just got in his face and said, look, we're going to do this the right way. So I have no problem with that. I love James Franklin. I don't want him in USC. He's perfect at Penn State. You talk about another institution that needs the right coach and they found the right coach. So James Franklin's the guy there. I would love to see both of them do well. I think, look, We're going to find out a lot about Michigan this weekend. They're playing Wisconsin. But that's a huge game for Michigan. They're finally leaving their home stadium. There's a lot of good teams in the Big Ten. The Big 12 has a couple teams that I'm interested in. Oregon's got a track, man. If they don't lose, they're in because they beat Ohio State at the Horseshoe and you're not keeping them out. So, of course we'll see controversy if Ohio State somehow stumbles their way to a Big Ten title, they'll put them in instead of Oregon and we'll all know why. And it'll just be outrage. So
I hear you. Now, one other thing. Well, actually, I got two things. First thing is, do you think that this Alabama Ole Miss game might potentially be a game that could determine like the tide of where Arch Manning goes?
What's interesting there is, if I recall, Pat McAfee was on the Manning cast a couple weeks ago, and he brought up Arch Manning, and I think Peyton let it slip that he's favoring West Virginia for whatever reason.
That's because McAfee went to West Virginia. That's why he said that.
No, but he said that he's going to West Virginia.
Oh.
So that's why I was a little confused because McAfee ran with it. Like, I thought it was a joke too. Now I tried to find something that said that it was and I think at the end of the day, I think maybe Peyton said something he shouldn't have said, but I think he does like West Virginia. He has not officially made any announcement. He's got plenty of time to do that. But yes, I think Ole Miss, Alabama. Saban was recruiting Arch Monday night during that Manning cast. He said, I would love to coach a Manning. I would love it to be, I would love it to come down to Ole Miss and Tennessee just because that's where they both went. I'm pretty sure Cooper was going to Ole Miss before he got sick or hurt. So it would be something if Arch went to where his namesake, his grandfather went at Ole Miss, play for a guy like Lane Kiffin. But look, at that point, you better make sure that you've got your ducks in a row because that whole Manning family is going to be on the sideline every weekend, and they're not going to let their kid be embarrassed. Because they've got plans for that kid. That kid's not just going to be a star in college. He's going to be the number one pick one day. That's their plan for this kid. So that's a big deal. But look, I think it'd be great if he went to Alabama. I think it'd be great if he went to Ole Miss. So hopefully the West Virginia thing was indeed a joke, but boy, it didn't sound like a joke when they were talking about it, and the way it was kind of perceived by a lot of people. I thought I even saw one of the recruiting sites put him down as a West Virginia commit. So I don't know if that stayed or if they recanted, but yeah, that was a pretty interesting comment to make.
That's golly, for his sake, I hope it's not West Virginia too. I'm because I mean, look, that's an SEC family, and most call them the first family of football. But I could see with the way that offense is built with Lane Kiffin, I could see it because I know Lane said on SEC Nation, he was like, we wanted 400 yards isn't enough per game. We want to be like 600 yards a game.
They would be with Arch. I mean, listen, they've got the best quarterback probably in the SEC, and Matt. I saw him play against Indiana at the Outback Bowl last year in person, and it was a pleasure. He's a great quarterback. So, I know Bryce Young, everyone's high on him, but I like Matt Corral. I think he's a really good passer.
I think he might go number one this year, but people are believing in Spencer Rattler. I don't see it with Rattler, to be honest.
No. It's just not.
I like Corral to go one. I like Rattler. Not Rattler. Not a good Corral.
This is not a good class. I don't know if I don't know if a QB goes top 5 this year. Right now, I wouldn't.
I think it's that guy actually from Oregon. What's his name? Thibodeau. I think he's supposed to go one, right? The defensive tackle. Kayvon Thibodeau. Yeah.
I don't know if he'll even get drafted. I don't know if he'll go in the high like that. I don't know. I heard some people talking about him. They're not sure what type of guy he'd be in the NFL. So it's all about perception, I guess.
Yeah.
But look, we got a long way to go until the draft. Don't worry. Someone will fall in love with a quarterback. So.
True.
JP's, I know we only got 6 minutes left with Chris, but I did want to ask him this one thing about the Lightning before he goes. So, they have a couple of roster spots open. So, who do you think is going to get those between Barré-Boulet, Radish, and Rifers?
Well, Barré-Boulet had a good start, had the lone goal on Tuesday night in Carolina. So I think he's got the edge. He's been up there before. He knows kind of what to do. He understands everything. They've got some wild cards. You know, they brought in a Swedish center. They brought him in, and I think that's a guy that, you know, had Victor Hedman was very, very much involved in his recruiting. So I could see him taking one of those spots. It's a two-way deal, I believe. So that's kind of where I sit with those guys. But look, you're trying to bring back some production from the loss of a Yanni Gord, who was probably the most impressive thumper I've ever seen on a team. He went for it, man, and he was the smallest thumper too, but he didn't care. He fought people. He didn't care what it took. He wasn't afraid. So whoever you get can't be timid. Because look, Nikita Kucherov's not going to bang like that. Neither is Stammer or those guys. So it's good to have the Anthony Sorellis of the world. So if they could find a couple more guys like that to kind of come in and fill that role, it doesn't always have to be every single night. They can rotate guys in, scratch a guy, all that. So we'll see. But yeah, those are probably the two names. Those are the two guys that I like, and maybe it's just common sense. But yeah, those are the names I like.
Yeah, because John Cooper was talking about Rifers. He was saying he did good in training camp, and he wants to see him do it in the preseason. So I think what you're saying, I think Rifers has probably he's gonna have to be like one of the favorites to get one of the two spots, because I know Edward Belmore, the guy they signed from Colorado, he's pretty much a lock at this point, because they were talking about he's doing the penalty kill, which because I think they lost like 2 or 3 guys for the penalty kill with Gord and Goodrow and Coleman. So yeah, 3 guys. Because all 3 did it. So.
Barclay's another loss. I mean, that's another guy who just plays hard. So, and then you lost Blake. I mean, you know, there's guys that, you know, he's up in Calgary now. So, I mean, they're going to have to replace some really important pieces. They don't need to score 40 goals or have 100 points to be important. That's why the Lightning won the last 2 years. They've always had guys step up. Tyler Johnson's on the first line right now in Chicago. So that's says all you need to know about what people think about him, and hopefully Yanni gets healthy out in Seattle. And I know Yanni for a fact, his house sold in 1 day here in Tampa. It was on the market for 18 hours. So that was pretty cool. Little fact for you.
Now, one thing before you go, and we made it to the HBCU portion of the show, because I know we got 3 minutes with you. So for one, I want to say, you know, what is it going to take for FAMU to crack your state of Florida top 10? And also, do you believe FAMU is Tallahassee's hometown team now? Since FAMU likely is going to get a W today, their first SWAC W this weekend against Alabama State.
You mean FAMU High?
I mean Florida Agricultural.
No, you mean FAMU High. My girls, the Lady Rattlers, the girls basketball team that I see at the Lakeland Center every year. I love that team.
Goodness. Oh my goodness.
Do you know the FAMU High Lady Rattlers?
Yeah, I know.
You know them. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm talking about Florida Agricultural and Mechanical.
No, University. I know who you're talking about, but I'm saying I think that's Tallahassee's team. So
that's understandable.
Listen, I grew up a women's basketball fan in UConn, so I'll always give attention to the deserving young ladies out there on the hard court. So that's one of my favorite teams in the entire state. Them, Sefner Christian. There's a few out there, but no, I'm a big believer in that. So, but no, look, I don't know. I think FSU's FSU. They're just having a down year. Any win they get will be more impressive. Sorry. If they get one win, it's over an impressive team. So, all
right. Let me ask you for a high school. We were talking about this last night. Jesuit being ranked number 15 in the nation. Like,
yeah.
How do you perceive that going? Like, do you think they're going to be a lot for the state title or what? Like,
they haven't won a state title in a while, and they always get to that state semifinal, that region. And I mean, you go back, they had Danny Boone as the quarterback, Gators running back Malik Davis. I was there the night he broke the Hillsborough County rushing record. I have the shot right into my camera. It's everyone. That's the shot. And, so I don't know. But I love Matt Thompson. He's a great coach. And what I love about him is he's more of a CEO. He lets his coaches kind of do their thing on both sides of the ball. So they're very well disciplined. I don't know too many teams that could get up for St. Thomas Aquinas in 4 days and win. And they did. So, credit all goes to Jesuit. We'll see. We'll see. There's a lot of good teams in our area. It's just a matter of their draw. You get the regions are never a lock, and but the typical names, Lakeland. I think Lake Gibson is so much more. They beat Lakeland. They're so much more built than people give them credit because they lost 2 games to start the year. They went on national TV against a high-powered team from Georgia, and they put up 50 points and lost. So, they've got Jalen Glover. I was at his commitment to Utah at his church. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. And so we'll see. Got a lot of talent in the area, though.
Most definitely.
Well, Chris, that was a pleasure to have you on tonight. I think JP's going to say it for us both.
Yes, most definitely. It's always a pleasure, man. We always leave the door open for you to come back. We would love to have you back, most definitely. Where can the folks find you, Chris?
On Twitter. Just open it up. They'll see me. At Torello Sports on Twitter. But we do a lot of stuff on baynews9.com, a lot of good features that kind of go deeper. You talk about FAMU. We had the FAMU food truck rally with USF. Julius Juju Forte and Kayvon Webster, 2 former USF players, were part of that Black-owned food truck rally. And so I did a feature with those 2 guys. Got to see the great food, the great support, and that's what you need to see is these young men succeeding beyond the football field. And I think they're great role models for the next generation. So it should be a good story people can check out on baynews9.com/sports.
Yes. And if you're also in the Tampa Bay area this evening and you've got Spectrum, make sure you tune in tonight to watch Chris on Spectrum Sports 360, because I know I will.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir. We appreciate you. He's a great dude. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. He cracked us up.
I know, right? My gosh. Right. But let's
get into this HBCU stuff.
Yes. So we
need to talk about this Alcorn Pine Bluff game, man. I got screwed. That set the tone for me for a bad week.
Look, when it first started, I know you had to be so happy because
I was the only one.
You were up 20. They were up 26-7, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, "Look, I didn't want to tweet it, but I was like, look, this Alcorn team, they not winning the SWAC. I'm sorry." But then all of a sudden, I stepped away for a little bit to go get something to eat, and then I come back.
The light switched on. I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Hey, look, dude, that's Steve McNair's brother calling the shots on that sideline. That's Fred McNair over there, and our friend of the show, also Quinn Gray, who is the quarterback's coach, calling the shots. So they got it right. They got it together, and they made it happen, and that was a heck of a comeback. I got to give credit where credit's due. Game recognized game. But the interesting thing is Alcorn will be in Florida here in 2 weeks playing Bethune-Cookman for their homecoming, and then Prairie View gets Pine Bluff tomorrow night in Texas for a Thursday night game. So that'll be interesting too. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think I took Pine Bluff again. I thought they played good Thursday until the end. So just like, can y'all not disappoint me again?
Hey, look,
they were about to make me a full-time fan, and then they choked, and I'm like,
I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna let you know this now before you put your full faith in Pine Bluff tomorrow night. Prairie View has beaten Grambling 4 straight years, and then
so
you going with Prairie View now? Or he see America. He don't. Yeah, but look, all I'm gonna say is this: Prairie View literally they pulled out the deed to the Cotton Bowl on them boys and said, "Grambling, this is the deed. This is your eviction notice." I believe it's an eviction notice. It was either the deed or an eviction notice. And they said, "Look, you got to go." And it was so disrespectful. It was so.
I mean, if they got swag, I'm starting to think about Prairie View.
Hey, the score was they were up 24-7 at one point in that game. They let Grambling get a field goal. I guess Grambling thought they were going to rally, but they didn't. No. Hey, look,
HBCU football's harder than I thought to pick games.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I know I'm undefeated in those games. I have one loss because Jackson State beat FAMU. But I mean, look, man, it's the SWAC. If you told me to tell you who was the best team right now, I mean, bias aside, I could not tell you who the best team is. I can't even tell you who's going to win the West right now. I couldn't tell you who's going to win the East. Because I mean, Jackson State looks like. I mean, I told you whoever won the Orange Blossom Classic was probably going to win the East. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I don't even know because after seeing Jackson State struggle against a Division II school with all that SEC talent they have, I don't even have all my faith in Jackson State right now. And then FAMU could starting Saturday. FAMU could flip the switch and just get on a roll. We've seen it happen before.
Yeah, they weren't playing bad against USF before they had their bye week, so
exactly.
If they could build off of that momentum, I think FAMU's going to probably make a run. I think probably a couple weeks.
That's my thoughts exactly. I mean, because look, and then you have to factor this into, and this is the thing that people don't know. FAMU has not lost a game since 2018 at home. Then, like Coach Simmons has said, you know, that's one of our main things that we preach to in this program. We don't lose at home. And it's been very, very true. FAMU's protected home. FAMU won, 6 home games in 2019. Didn't play in 2020, but they would have probably beaten everybody that was coming into that stadium in 2020. And then, 2021 so far, they've won 7 straight home games because they beat the brakes off of Fort Valley. So now you got your first SWAC opponent coming in. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if this game's on ESPN Plus. It's pretty screwed up if it's not, but we'll see. We'll definitely see.
Yep. We're going to talk about Grambling. We're going to talk about BCU.
Look, dude, I'm going to say this about Bethune-Cookman. FAMU, y'all better win that Florida Classic this year because I'm looking at Bethune-Cookman that if not now, win because Bethune-Cookman, they are literally looking at their first 0-6 start since 2016. They might be 0-7 after their homecoming because Alcorn's coming to town. Who knows?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be 0-7.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on. Like I think they'll be 0-7 by the time their homecoming game is over. I think they'll be 0-7. So look, dude, this is a rare sight for Bethune-Cookman. They have a tight end transfer out of Louisville who's a pretty decent player. I know their starting quarterback transferred from Arkansas Pine Bluff, which might explain your bad luck with picking Pine Bluff. But I mean, dude, I don't know. I don't know what to make of them. I'll be honest with you. That when people say it's rough in the SWAC, there's one team you can definitely point to and say that. And you can look at Bethune-Cookman and say that. I mean, outside of Mississippi Valley, Mississippi Valley is not really a top-tier team right now, and they haven't been since Jerry Rice left. But, that's how that goes.
Yeah.
But
we got almost all the teams, actually, I think.
We did? Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah. We got through that fast. I didn't expect that.
Well, I mean, we had a little bit of that time taken up with Chris, but that's all right. That's fine.
All right. I did promise people on Twitter because since we have extra time, I did want to talk about the Saints defense. I got to give them the love because Flash cut me off last night.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Get it out, man.
All right. So you saw how they were playing against Panthers 2 weeks ago, right? And they were Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless, they were talking on Undisputed, right? And they were saying that's the same team that got blown up by Carolina, the same team that just wrecked New England. I'm like, boy, how stupid can you be? No offense, Shannon Sharp. I know you played and all that, but they were missing the All-Pro corner and Marshawn Lattimore, Pro Bowl with Nickelback and CD Deuce, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You're missing Marcus Davenport, Tano Capasano, who's a rotational pass rusher. He's actually not bad. He had like 2 sacks already on the season. And when you look at that defense and that first drive, right? Capasano got a pressure immediately on the first play of the game. CD Deuce came in on a sack, and Lattimore made the pass break up on the 3rd down to force him to punt early, right? Mm-hmm. And right away, that set the tone. And those guys, no one talked about the Saints at all this week. They're already talking about they completely ignored New England getting blown out, and they're just talking about the Brady coming to town part. And Brady's gonna if Jameis went and did that, Jameis didn't even play his best because Sean Payton was preaching ball security the entire game.
Right.
And Tom Brady just goes in. He has already the chip on his shoulder and all that. It's gonna be a I want to say
it's gonna be a blowout.
It's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah. I will say the one thing I noticed about that was the way that Sean Payton grabbed Jameis after Jameis threw that touchdown pass to Callaway. I don't know how many people saw that on because Red Zone cut as soon as that happened at Red Zone.
I'm gonna see if I can find a tweet for you on that.
Yeah, like that.
They had a tweet come out today about that whole thing because Nick Underhill was tweeting that he's the top reporter for the Saints, right? Mm-hmm. He was saying that Jameis was, when he was looking at it from Sean's perspective on the tape back, he's like, Sean Payton told him that he noticed that Jameis threw it so the receiver can make a play on it. And Jameis told him he's going to make that throw again because Sean Payton was only mad because the receiver was wrapped up essentially and it was tight coverage. But Jameis said if he's going to do it again, but next time he's going to throw it higher. So it's going to be either caught by Callaway or it's going to be in the back of the end zone, incomplete.
Yeah, see, that was something that I noticed that Jameis said in the interview.
And he said it's just all God, more or less. He says pretty much just, you saw him going
yeah. I saw, and then he said too, he was like, yeah, I tried to throw it out the back of the end zone, but my guy went up there and got it. So I was like, oh, okay. Hey, do you think?
Oh, but I won't be shocked. They're going to be back in the dome this weekend for their dome coming from Ida. It's like New England's going to be a bloodbath for the Bucs. I feel bad for Giants fans because it's going to be ugly. That game, if New Orleans gets the ball first, that game's going to be over like that.
Look, they don't know how to use Kadarius Toney. First of all, I don't think Kadarius Toney's that good, to be honest with you. But
Kadarius Toney would have been better in San Fran. They use their receivers more behind the line of scrimmage. You see how Debo is?
Yeah.
That's a lesser version of him is what Kadarius Toney is.
I honestly looked at it like this. I'm like, yeah, see, Kadarius Toney to me was good at Florida, but I felt like when you put him in the NFL against a whole bunch of other fast guys, he doesn't seem that fast. If you are really that dude and that type of fast, you better be like Devin Hester, day one starter, put him on the field. He's
Jacoby Jones.
Exactly. You better be that dude. Look, Devin Hester was too good of a route runner and a return man to just play defensive back. They had to put him at wide receiver. And I think a little bit at running back. You got to play a little bit. That type, the way they talked about Kadarius Toney coming out of Florida, I was not really that sold. Plus, I saw some mock drafts where he was supposed to be a 4th round guy. And that's where I really thought he should have went. I thought really he should have came back to Florida for another year because I didn't think he was all that. I was wondering why he was sitting out the bowl game. But look, I could talk forever about this. I didn't think.
I think Van Jefferson with the Rams. I think he's probably was one of the better ones to come out of Florida as a wide receiver. Because he can at least run a route. I've not seen Kadarius Toney run a route.
Van Jefferson was good.
Tyreek Cleveland. I think Cleveland, if he gets the opportunity, he'd be good. He's on the Broncos right now. He's going to probably get that opportunity with KJ Hamler out. So
yeah, honestly, if what's his name didn't screw up his career,
Callaway.
Callaway. Antonio Callaway, if he didn't screw up his career, he would have been another good one. But he screwed it up, and it was all over Hard Knocks for everybody to see. So how would you touch him now? But look, that's my take. Folks,
right.
I'll be live on Friday or Saturday breaking down FAMU and Alabama State. And that's how we're going to wrap up the HBCU portion of the show. I know we touched a little bit on NFL and stuff, but yeah, y'all check out Prairie View against Arkansas Pine Bluff tomorrow night, live from Prairie View A&M University, my mistake. But yeah, I know that's going to be a good one tomorrow night. I'm going to be watching. But now we are into the hot topics.
Oh, I forgot we had Hot Topics. Gotta just say that for Hot Topics. I thought we were already in it.
Yeah, no, you good, man. You good, man. It just adds to the fun of
My
the
bad.
show.
All right, let's get on. Let's move it.
My thing is, look, so far my take of this is, you got the Rays who wrapped up the AL East, they're playing right there behind me right now.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Brewers who wrapped up the National League Central. It looks like the Braves are going to win the National League East because, I mean, they're the only team that's basically not eliminated yet. I mean, the Phillies are in there too. And then you got the Cardinals who clinched, I believe, the last National League wild card spot today. And then you've also got that battle for the NL West out there with the Dodgers and the Giants. So I'm wondering, honestly, like, who wins that, man? Like,
Personally, I take the Giants just because the Dodgers beat the Rays last year.
honestly, to be real with you, I would. Let me see. Let me double check this because I really feel like the Giants may have a chance to honestly steal that.
I don't even remember what the payroll is for the Dodgers, but I'm sure it's probably over $10 billion at this point. It feels like
So
they just keep paying everybody,
if the
and
season,
they still can't even put away the Giants, which is saying something.
look, all I'm gonna say is this: if this Rays team, I think if they don't run into the Dodgers again, they could probably win the whole thing. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Time's a charm.
Probably third time is probably the charm.
Exactly. And I'm gonna say this before I say that. So far, if the season were to end today, the Giants would be the NL West champions over the Dodgers because they're up 2.5 games. No, 2 games. They're up 2 games on the Dodgers. But I'm gonna say this before we move on. Stu Sternberg, if the Rays win the World Series,
You keeping that team? You're just putting them in Tampa Bay.
that team has to come to Tampa Bay. There is no more Montreal talk. There's no more Montreal talk. There's no more of this split city thing. There's no
That's
more
a destiny.
There's no more of this taking the St. Pete mayor out to dinner and buying him whatever he wants to keep the Rays in St. Pete. Because first of all, people don't even go to them games. I've talked to plenty of people, and I can tell you firsthand.
Even your own players know it. Your own players know they're not going to drive over the bridge. Was Austin Meadows, I think, said it?
No, that was oh my gosh. Yeah, it was Austin. It was Austin Meadows. It was.
Okay, yeah.
Wasn't it dude with the long hair?
Yeah.
He went on.
Simmer Glasnow said it.
Yeah, Glasnow. It was Glasnow. It was Glasnow even went on a podcast and even said for a fact, we know nobody comes to our games because we play all the way over here in St. Pete. All of our fans are in Tampa. Do you really like the thought process of it is so simple. You could design the stadium. The Rays have a great relationship with literally Suncoast Bank. You can name the stadium Suncoast Bank. You can build,
Credit Union, Suncoast Credit Union.
Suncoast Credit Union Park. The trademark of this city is Cuban cigar factories. You can literally build up a stadium that looks like an old-fashioned Cuban cigar factory and have a baseball field right in the middle of it and make it indoors because of Florida weather and still
or the retractable roof thing.
Yeah, and have a retractable roof and still make a killing.
Yeah, I don't know why they're just being so stubborn in a sense to just like refuse to put the team in Tampa. It's like even the TV viewership, it's really high in Tampa, but it's like they know the fans are in Tampa. The Rays have not the Rays. The Lightning have no problem selling out, and the Bucs have no problem selling out. Well, exactly. The Bucs have no problem selling out now, but
exactly.
2011 they were blackout every other game.
I know what you mean.
But we won't get into that part. But the Lightning have been like sold out every game for like the last 6 years, 7 years. Like They have no problems with attendance. And the fans of the Lightning are the fans of the Rays. So I'm in the exception probably, but we won't get into that.
Sort of. But I mean, look, like honestly, like you look at it and it's just like, dude, come on. Like I get it. a lot of people like baseball is America's pastime, but a lot of people are falling out of love with baseball right now. But look, that fan base, they will come. The Rays, like on a Tuesday night, you put that stadium in the right place, people will come. Tuesday, Wednesday night, middle of the work week, people will go still.
Yeah, if you put it like Ybor, just like by Ybor, like South Tampa area, just anywhere over there, they would come for the game.
Exactly. My thing is, honestly, you want to know my take of it? If I'm being for real with you, the fairgrounds. You can tear down the old.
Oh, I'd be fine with that. Just get rid of the amphitheater. Well, that might offend people, actually.
Not the amphitheater. Get rid of that other one that they use where they use for like the gun show and stuff.
Oh, the graduation facility or whatever? Yeah, I would be fine with that. That's a place as a dump anyway. Get rid of that. Just TNT. Get rid of it. Put in a nice stadium right there. That's next to I-4, Leroy, Selman, and it's not too far from 75.
Exactly.
And you just hop on 275, get there, and you're right next to the whole place.
You can still have the state fair in that same spot. Even though it's not that fun anymore to most people, but I'm not going to go there. We got 3 minutes left. I'm going to talk about this, fantasy football, start 'em or sit 'em.
Oh, let me pull up my stuff. All right, let's hear it. I'll tell you what I got.
I'm going to be nice to you. I'm going to be nice to you this week. This week. If you present to me a legitimate trade, because Josh,
you saw my issues. You dropped Logan Thomas, so.
Well, now you don't care. I was gonna be nice to you and say, look, I got Josh Gordon. I don't
want Josh Gordon.
All right, fine. You know what? You should see because look, now I done built my arsenal up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you keep getting some crazy production from every single player for some. I don't even know how you do it. It's like the guys keep going off every week, and I'm like, these guys shouldn't be going off.
Look, I have put together a nuclear football, and ain't none of y'all gonna be able to stop it. And I'm gonna get your boy Vortex this weekend.
I'd be fine with that. I don't care about Chad. You can beat him.
Chad
He's number one, right? Or no, you're number one. Chad's number two.
I'm number one, but I'm last on the waiver wire. But I know.
Yeah, because you keep using them.
I notice now nobody else hits it like I do. So I mean, hey, look, it's fine with me.
I didn't hit it this week. I stepped off. Like last 2 weeks, I stepped off of it. I'm like, oh yeah, no one uses it. But now that you dropped me a tight end, like, if all I gotta do is get consistent production from Saquon and Mixon, and I'm set because I have the 3 best wide receivers right now. I got Devontae, Keenan, and actually 4 best wide receivers: Jamar Chase and DJ Moore. So I got 4 startable receivers. It's just my running backs are bipolar.
My lucky stars, I get to flip a coin every week between Emmanuel Sanders, Josh Gordon, Mike Williams. I mean, and now I can flip a coin between, honestly, Dalton Schultz,
Gronk,
and even I forget my third tight end who I have, but I know I still have somebody else. So it's crazy.
All right, let's do the start and sit 'em. What you got? Do it super fast.
All right, what do I got for this week? Oh my goodness, let me bring this up. For the
people from America, let's give America what they want for the start 'em, sit 'em.
All right, start 'em and sit 'em. Honestly, I'm gonna start off with this because I don't know how he's doing right now, but I know he played a decent amount. Christian McCaffrey, I would put him.
He's out. Yeah, put him on IR. He's not gonna play this week or next week probably.
Cordell Patterson against the Washington football team.
Start him. If you need a flex, start him.
Yep. Honestly, too, I'm gonna say it now. Emmanuel Sanders against the Houston Texans.
Start him.
Gronk and Tom Brady going back to New England this weekend.
Start them both. Well, Brady's an obvious. Start Gronk.
Yeah, I agree. Tyreek Hill against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Tyreek, you have to start him every week.
Yeah. He's
driving me crazy, but whatever.
I'm gonna take a page out of you and Chris's book, though. Honestly, if you got Allen Robinson, I would probably drop him or trade him.
I wouldn't drop him, but I would try trading him because, especially after this week, if he doesn't get it right against Detroit, he got to get traded or dropped.
Yeah.
I know it's not his fault per se. It's more, Nagy not being able to scheme up an offense, but
The competence of Matt Nagy. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. I already said this on Twitter. He ruined Trubisky, and he's ruining Fields.
yeah.
He's a bad coach. He should have been fired last year, but they blamed Trubisky instead of him. So
I agree.
Let's wrap this up.
One final thing. I will say this. Regardless of what you do the rest of the season, it don't matter what you do. If you have him, start him. I'm talking about Justin Tucker.
Oh, yeah. He got 17 fantasy points.
But one last
He got more points for me than Tyreek Hill, Allen Robinson, and Tyson Williams combined. Don't get me started.
I know. But I'm gonna ask you this. If you were a GM of a fantasy team, who are you starting? The Rams defense or the Bills defense? The Bills play against Washington.
Bills. The Rams played the Cardinals. Why would I ever start the Rams against the Cardinals?
Problem solved. There you have it, America.
I mean, no offense to the Rams defense, even with D-Hop banged up, Kyler Murray's going to find a way.
True. That's true.
Like, he's pulling magic right now out of his, hat. I might have said something else, but right now he's just figuring out how to win, which is, albeit the teams he's beaten are kind of sus, but it still wins. And when he didn't have his A game against Jacksonville, he still found the way to win, which is, when you look at a team, that's what kind of matters.
That's what you look for in an NFL quarterback, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing his thing. But folks, that's going to do it for us as we have now reached the closing 2 minutes of this show. I hope you've enjoyed. I want to thank Chris for joining us this week. Much applause to that. Most definitely, and as always, he's always welcome. I know, Chris, if you're watching the closing minutes of this, you're always welcome to come back and join us. We would love to have you. If you want to join Ace and Flash on the Last Give podcast on Tuesday nights, you are more than welcome to. I'm sure they would love to have you.
I know Flash was trying to get on today, but some stuff got in his way, so we couldn't make it.
That's fine. That's all good.
And he was kind of bummed out, so maybe Chris will come back.
Yeah, maybe. It's all good. He was here in spirit. It was a good show tonight. I enjoyed this a lot. A lot of good talking points and everything. But we got about a minute left before the final credits roll. So, Ace, you got anything?
No, just a reminder, be a friend, tell a friend. That's most of what we do. That's what we do.
Yes. Be a friend, tell a friend. You share this video with your friends, and then you send it out somewhere, and then they send it out somewhere. Get the web going. That's what the World Wide Web is for.
Yeah, and JP's, if people want to check us out, where they got to go to find us, man? You got to tell the people where to find us. I know it's on the bottom, but, they probably not paying attention. Look,
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they're all Penalty Talk. At Instagram, it's at Throw Flags. At Throw Flags. That's all one word. Like, share, and subscribe to all these platforms. Then with that, we're going to close out. And so, folks, have a good night. Stay safe. Stay blessed. The credits are next. We'll see you in the next episode. Yeah, here we are again, post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I don't know who came here for a spoiler for episode 7 of the Running Gun podcast, but we don't do that here. I know you're probably waiting for some moment with a guy with an eye patch to walk through that door. Although it wouldn't surprise me if a guy with an eye patch did walk through that door right now. But,
we're in Tampa, land of the Pirates.
You know what? Honestly, I thought about pulling my eye patch out. I really did. I'm getting hungry though, so I think we're gonna have the post-credit scene a little short.
Yeah, let's cut it.
Let's cut it. All right. Good night.